Okay, I think it should be fixed by now. Anyway, starting with our session. Please don't annotate on my screen. That's being reserved for the host only. In case you want to highlight something, let me know. You can annotate accordingly and then we can discuss. Thank you. So today's agenda is quite simple. First, I want to share some stories from my old students, some learning insights, not just for USCMA, but for life, career in general. Secondly, we are going to discuss CMA as a course, how it gets plugged into finance as a career. I got a chat saying, can you switch to Hindi? Uh, Abdul, what I can do is, if there is something critical, I'll talk in Hindi for that bit, but I will repeat it in English as well. I usually keep my primary language as English, given that it is the language of official exam. Plus, I have a huge student base coming in from Bangalore, Chennai, and even some students from Kerala. So I usually get a lot of criticism when I switch to Hindi. So I always make it a point that whenever there is Hindi element added, I repeat it in English. Okay, but I'm comfortable in Hindi as well. Happy to repeat. Okay, coming back to our agenda. First thing is story part. Second thing is, see, when students ask me, sir, what is scope of finance? CMA का scope क्या है in terms of career? हम आगे जाके करेंगे क्या? Whatever you're going to do in your career, that exact explanation you'll get from this webinar. You know, finance is basically divided into two pillars, the personal finance and business finance. We will deep dive into business finance today. Maybe spend a couple of minutes on personal finance as well. Third thing, we'll switch to CMA. How CMA gets plugged in into your overall scope of finance. कि आप exactly क्या क्या काम कर सकते हो, कहाँ पे career बना सकते हो. Those kind of things we'll discuss. And next is the last part, that is salary, placements, ROI analysis. After that, I have kept 15 to 20 minutes for Q&A. Q&A may I'll be taking questions from both sides, from Zoom as well as YouTube. So please be open and interact. I think, I've specifically kept unmute option open for you all. Whenever you have a question, whenever you want to interrupt, just raise your hand. I'll take a break and you can unmute and talk to me. Okay, I think we are good to start. Yes, Suyesh, you will get the recording, maybe not the complete one, but an edited version definitely. It will go on FinStreet Education's YouTube channel. Okay, we are all set to start. But before we go ahead, this is my favorite slide. It's a quick introduction about me. Uh, Even though this number is yet to be updated now, I have 6 years of experience. It says 5. Please mark it at 6. I have around 4 years of corporate experience and now 2 years of experience in teaching and other sectors. I'm now even a freelance consultant for many MNCs and even startups. Coming back to my corporate experience, after BCom, I started my career with Deutsche Bank, spent there around 15 months. And believe me, I had around 2 certifications completed back then, but you will be shocked to know what my salary was in Deutsche Bank. When we'll start with salary discussion, मैं आपको मेरे सब salaries बता दूंगा. I don't mind sharing those. So started my career with Deutsche Bank, worked there for around 15 months, moved to what FIS. FIS is a Fortune 500 company. Luckily, I got a very lucrative role over there as a business analyst. It was a front end role, got to manage international clients, good salary, went well. But when COVID happened, I got a lot of time to study. So मैंने सोचा कि चलो let's appear for CAT, cracked CAT, got into IIM Lucknow for my 2 years of full-time MBA. After my MBA, rather during my MBA, I got to work with many startups, venture capital firms, advisory firms. So WhatFix is one of them. DNA Advisory is one of them. And I had worked for some NGOs here and there. After my MBA, I started working with KPMG as a strategy consultant. I was working in merger and acquisitions team on buy side. So investors के साथ काम करता था, which were based out of UK. Currently, I'm a full-time professor at a college plus at my own institute, FinStreet. Other than this, I'm also a career coach plus a kind of mentor. As and when I get time, I do guide students. Next, I used to volunteer a lot with IMA from 2017 to 21, rather continuously as a volunteer, president, global volunteer, and then a judge for their student case competition. This is about my volunteering. Lately, I got this award from TopMate. So thank you, TopMate. And leadership, I think people are well aware about my LinkedIn profile. Let's start. Okay. Coming to our first topic of discussion, that is what is finance. Before going ahead, I usually like to start with some interaction. So anyone who wants to, let's say, unmute and speak up that what is finance? Any volunteer, anyone can speak up. If not, I'm happy to call up someone. I can see some of my students as well. Okay, let me ask Komal. Hi, Komal. Would you like to try this? What is finance?
Sir, I'm traveling. I'm just listening lecture. Am I audible to you?
बढ़िया. Make sure before today's lecture you are settled. Class में ये बहाना नहीं चलेगा.
Sure, sure.
Okay, I can see Akshi as well. Akshi, would you like to try?
Yes, sir. Finance is basically study of investment.
Spot on. Good. Interestingly, even finance experts fail to, the so-called finance experts fail to answer, but it is study of investments. And there are mainly two pillars in this finance as a whole. One is personal, and second is business finance.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Abhishek?
Actually, आप जो लिख रहे हैं, it is not visible in the screen.
Uh, oh, okay. I can see that my scribbling is not visible. Is it not visible on Zoom as well? Let me drop off and join in again in that case.
Hello, Aditya. Hello. He left the meeting.
Okay, let me test the annotation again. Whatever I'm scribbling on my screen, are you able to see it now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, amazing.
Yeah, Aditya.
Thanks for the heads up, Abhishek. Highly appreciate.
Aditya.
Yes.
Hi,
Hi,
Anand here. Hi. I want to. You have asked for the what is the finance, right?
Yes.
So, we can say it's the management of money.
Management of money, yes. It overlaps with
It's
the basic logic of study and then management of money.
the part of the one of the branch of the finance, right?
Yes. Anyways, so previous recording is in place. Let's continue. So finance has mainly two tranches. First is the personal part. And second we have is the business part. Let's start with personal finance and I'll give you a very simple example. And there's a story here which had some really good insight. One of my students from previous classes, okay, before starting FinStreet, I used to teach in some other private class, the same topic, US CMA. It was based out of Hyderabad. I think that's a good enough hint. So some students from even those class, whatever batches I took over there, are still in touch. And one day I get a very distressing call from one of the students saying that, भैया मुझे आपकी help चाहिए. And I said, what happened? So unfortunately, while his father was serving in army and he was on border India-Pakistan line of control, he was working there as an engineer and he got shot during one of his monitoring exercises. And that was really unfortunate. I extended my empathies, everything. But that happened 6 months ago. So I asked my student, "Ke, abhi kyun call kar rahe? What's happening?" So he gave me a very shocking news. He said that my father was a army person. He never, took special interest in managing finances from that perspective, from a dedicated, exponential investing another perspective. Because of which, whatever investments were made at a moderate scale in FDs and traditional instruments, those never took off. So just investing in FDs and just investing in other instruments of basic insurance and other part, this wasn't sufficient. When you learn personal finance and you understand about how capital markets work, what investing avenues are there, and how inflation kills your gain if your return is less than the inflation rate. In that case, it's a huge blow. And that what happened with that specific student. He said that, sir, अभी हमारा investment बिल्कुल सही नहीं जा रहा है. Please help करो. How do I manage my finance? I'm not in a position where we should have been. अगर हम कुछ और इन्वेस्टमेंट करते तो आज शायद मेरे पापा रिटायर हो सकते थे, बट माय फादर कैन नॉट गो इन दैट डायरेक्शन नाउ. शैलेश शर्मा, प्लीज डोंट एनोटेट. थैंक यू. After this discussion, I was really shocked, and I could see a trend. Whoever is getting into finance is actually on one side making career, but on other side also making good amount of money. If I talk about my own story, I graduated somewhere around 2018. I completed my BCom, got my first job. 2018 to 2021, this was my working period. After 21, I went for my MBA. But whatever money I made during this period, see, I stay in Pune, so rent nahi hai. Secondly, I have an elder brother. I have father who was working. He just retired last year, but who was working, was taking care of, home expenses and everything. So all my money was basically residual income. What I did, I parked it in stock market. I parked it in SIPs and mutual funds. Over time, my investment doubled, tripled, and got to a point where, okay, I can take a break from my career now. I'm just 28, 29. I can afford to take a break, explore my passions, explore what I love. So I got into teaching. Uh, but coming back to this is a huge difference, guys. So irrespective of what you take away from CMA, I don't want any of my students, any of my peers to face such concern. Please take out some time, learn finance passionately first for your own finance, like own money management schedule. uh, and this is something I'm talking out of deep passion. Please invest well, manage well, and make sure you're financially sound and not stuck in some traditional asset classes which won't give you good return. Okay. Any questions on this? I'm happy to take it up. I won't be giving any, by the way, investing advices. That's not right from SEBI perspective, but we can connect separately if you want to discuss something. I'll take a 5-second break to see if anyone has any doubts. How can I join your CMA class? We'll come to that, Shailendra. We have one good hour. We'll discuss everything that's relevant. Okay. Now coming to business finance. Yahan pe your career perspective finance starts. And from career perspective, let's see what all happens within finance. What is, when someone says scope, I usually go back and say, what do you mean by scope? And then students actually struggle to answer, sir, scope hota kya hai? Aap hi bata do. So here's my answer. See, think of any business. Okay, let's take an example. Zomato as an example. For some reason, like Zomato gave me good returns, तो हमेशा वो stock दिमाग में रहता है. Think of Zomato as a business, or any business for that matter. There are 3 stages in which finance plays a critical role in running a business. First is, let's say when the business is getting started. This is in startup phase. And over here, from finance perspective, there is something called as raising capital. So all career opportunities, I'll quickly highlight career opportunities in this spectrum. This is our first pillar, by the way. I'll highlight all 3 pillars. You'll get a good sense of what finance is. Now, when we talk about this business and raising capital, what does business exactly do? First is create a model. The model includes estimated revenue, कि हम business कितना करेंगे, how many units we can sell, how many services we can sell, how much revenue we can get in. And this is current if the business is already running, current plus predictive. And this is something a finance professional can do, rather only a finance professional can do. After creating a model, next comes the pitching part, reaching out to different investors and pitching. यहाँ पे majority काम आता है advisors का, consultants का, and then there is also an investment industry. We will talk about this separately. Basically what you see on Shark Tank, those kind of things. But in real life, there are advisors and consultants who take care of this pitching. While pitching, then comes the game of valuation. So valuation to some extent is covered over here, but while pitching, it becomes more accurate rather, concludes to some point कि valuation अभी decide हो गया. And after raising this capital, the overall round gets completed by closing formalities. Term sheet वगैरह हो गया, formalities. Again, this is getting a bit technical, so I'll stop over here. But closing formalities, where again majority role is played by advisors, consultant, plus a bridge or someone who facilitates all this, is called as investment banker. He also comes into picture. In this pillar now, where CMA fits in, let's look at that. When you will be studying CMA curriculum in our part 2, you have topic called as raising capital, or rather complete corporate finance, which also talks about what is equity when we are raising capital, which also talks about debt when we are raising capital, preferred shares, another way of raising capital, and analyzing businesses, which covers basic of creating a financial model. So part 2 ka main ideology is around raising capital from investment perspective for investors and capital requirement perspective from business. This is first pillar of finance. Now let's go back and think, yaar, finance raise ho gaya. We are good to scale up our business. So what is the next thing we should do? Okay, I'm getting a lot of comments in chat box. YouTube, sorry, but hold on for 2 minutes. I'll quickly complete this 3 pillars and then I'll take your questions. Let me check Zoom as well. 11th, sir, graduation ka roadmap. Avinash, I'll definitely cover this graduation ka roadmap. But stay with me for some time now. After startup, it comes to next step, that is operations. And under operations, what role does capital play? Anyone? Let's say अपना headquarter बन गया है from
financing.
Sorry, Priyan, can you try again?
No, so it's Sahil. You asked about capital, so it's day-to-day financing.
Day-to-day
We use
financing,
it for
spot
that.
on. Spot on, correct. This is nothing but deploying capital, where we talk about, working capital, या फिर in very simple terms, day-to-day financing. Basically to run operations, to support our sales team, marketing team, operations team, in-house admin team, HR team, all sorts of different segments, departments within our business, they need money to run. And then deploying this capital becomes next major part. यहाँ पे our CMA part 1 comes in handy. CMA part 1 comes in handy. What you will learn in CMA part 1, first we have is how to create accounts to track everything. Second is FP&A. FP&A is, by the way, one of the most sought after role by CMAs. And there are 2 reasons behind it. First is curriculum is designed in such a way it aligns well with FP&A. Those who don't know FP&A, it is financial planning and analysis. So FP&A is something that is really sought after. That's first point. Second point, currently in industry, lot of US CMAs are already placed in FP&A. So imagine I am actually a CMA, and let's say imagine I'm working in FP&A. So if a candidate comes through for an interview and he is pursuing or she is pursuing CMA or completed CMA already, of course I will have a natural bias that okay, let me hire this person. The person knows what he or she is doing. So that because of that natural bias, FP&A is quite an open field. One of our students, switched from, I don't remember her last company, but got into MongoDB FP&A, and this is during her CMA preparation. One of the reasons she mentioned was the person who was interviewing her was a US CMA already. So that helps. Such instances do help. One of our senior executives, so there's a student who takes one-on-one classes from me. Again, it's completely different, but he's a senior executive at Hitachi, and his boss in US is actually a US CMA. I'll be calling that person. Of course, she's in US, so it will be a Zoom podcast, but I'll be inviting that person and explain how. And she's CFO of that company, so we'll be discussing how CMA helped her and its overall job scope. But this is the scale of how alumni network and CMA helps you. Okay, coming to next part is costing. Costing goes back to BCom days, जो भी activity based direct indirect costing वगैरह था, everything. Again, it comes to deploying capital, how we are deploying, we need to cost for it, account for it. Next is variance analysis. See, once we start the year, we have some expectations. Okay, I'm going to spend 10 crores on operation, 15 crores on operations. Let's say you in actuals ended up spending 20, 30. So the difference between your expectation and your actual needs to be analyzed so that you could improve in your next financial year. So this analysis again is covered in CMA part 1. And lastly, technology. Now just imagine, I'll give you an example. I used to work in Deutsche Bank. Uh, I'll come to you guys. YouTube chat is completely out of hand. Okay. I'll give you an example of Deutsche Bank. Just imagine I was working in Deutsche Bank, Pune. The bank has 90,000 plus employees. Okay, 90,000 se bhi zyada employees hai. And our accounting team, which used to sit on other side of the floor, had around what 150, 200 employees managing accounting close for pretty much most of your our Deutsche Bank transactions and all. So I just imagine, the kind of technology, analytic tools, macros we were using, where just 150, 200 people are looking after accounts for such big businesses. That was crazy. And when I went over there, as to frequently visit them to just see what they're exactly doing. I was in finance, I was in credit risk, but accounting did fascinate me a lot. So I used to see कि यार बस अलग-अलग सॉफ्टवेयर पे काम कर रहे. They had access to great software, net suites and whatnot, plus a lot of macros written over there. So one of my friends used to work over there. I used to ask her कि आप क्या कर रहे हो ऐसे जादू यहाँ पे. She's like, no, we are just clicking buttons, macros run होते हैं and data submit होता है. So this is CMA part 1 in general. So this is about deploying capital. Yes, Avimitra?
Yes, this variance analysis and standard costing are the same topic.
It is related, but not the same topic. Variance analysis is different. Like the perspective is towards कि raw material की वजह से variance आया है या labor की वजह से variance आया, those kind of things. Costing is bit different. Costing class में discuss करेंगे, वो in depth चला जाता है. Costing is like, let's say you have an overhead. Okay, बहुत easy example देता हूँ. Think of it in this way. There's a factory which has 4 different departments and there is a cafeteria. Cafeteria ka cost is not getting you revenue. Cafeteria is just serving internal employees. So whatever cost cafeteria incurs, आपको वो distribute करना है अलग-अलग units में department से. How will you do that? So that is one part of costing. Another part is activity based costing. Okay, there are, instead of just going by units, you want to track activities. Okay, number of hours, number of laborers वो कर रहे हैं, वो आप कैसे करोगे? So that comes under costing.
No, sir, I am talking about standard costing, where there is material price variance, material usage variance, that things
Ah,
are there.
so for that variance part, we will do it in जो भी variance analysis मैंने कहा था, actuals versus expectations, that we will do it in variance analysis itself. I think वो section
Okay.
C में आता है part 1 में, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Cool. Let's continue. Now coming to reporting, the last pillar we have. This is second pillar. This is third pillar. Under reporting, mainly whatever we have completed. Let's say even if you are a short scale company, small scale company, or a large scale company, you have to report your performance first. So uske liye, what all standards do we have? What all rules are we following? Are we going ahead with GAAP? Are we going ahead with IFRS? If there are any international transactions, how can we take care of it? If there is Forex involved, what about the gains and losses? Everything again gets covered partly in CMA Part 1 and then CMA Part 2 as well. So these are basic three pillars of any product or service company. One is raising capital, second is deploying capital, and third is reporting your performance based on this capital. Another part of reporting is also balance sheet, but balance sheet is not that major concern as compared to P&L. Analysis focus is primarily on P&L and then balance sheet whenever we are looking at year-on-year performance. Let's say when we are looking at overall health of a business, that where do we stand in terms of solvency, coverage, vagara, then the focus is on balance sheet. Okay. I'll just take a quick break for 5 seconds. I can see a lot of queries in the chat. Let me just address some of them. What type of job CMA do? So say these are exactly three pillars where CMA gets placed usually. One is capital markets, raising finance, corporate finance, company to company peer analysis, benchmarking, valuation वगैरह, merger and acquisitions वगैरह भी सब इसी में आता है. Let's say company plans to grow further. So Zomato acquired Blinkit, right? So those kind of decisions, why company goes for acquisition, we'll be covering it in corporate finance. Deploying capital is mainly CMA Part 1. Here are where management accountants mainly work. And lastly, we have reporting. Again, management accounts do play a critical role. Coming to next part, let me see if there are any further queries. Yes, now we are coming at, now we are covering CMA only. So those who have CMA related queries, here we go. Now, what is CMA? CMA is basically a professional course, competes with those likes of other international finance course. And यहाँ पे मैं आपको बहुत बड़ा bifurcation बताता हूँ. I usually tell this in a lot of lectures as well. There are two type of education choices you have. One is academic, जहाँ पे आप degrees लेते हो. The major drawback of this is these degrees or the curriculum in these degrees is primarily designed by academicians or PhD holders who spend years and years of their experience in researching subjects. Of course, there are some industry experts who are involved in it, but primary say is with PhD holders or researchers. When we talk about professional courses, here the curriculum design is mainly by industry experts. And this industry expert design the curriculum in such a way that it is extremely industry relevant. So if you wonder why CMA has suddenly taken off or why there is intense competition, I'm not sure if you're aware about this, but in 2024, all the numbers for professional courses and not just that, even for CAT applicants are off the roof. CAT applicant suddenly 3 lakh plus ho gaya hai. So you can just imagine the kind of intense competition there is going to be. Even for CMA, you know, major markets for US CMA, I'll just give you a quick glimpse. US CMA सबसे ज़्यादा US में चलता है. Then China is a major market, even though after COVID there was some disruption. Then India is another major market. And then we have Canada and Australia. Then we have Middle East. These are some major markets where you will see a lot of US CMA alumni. Contrary to this, if we talk about UK-based courses, इनका alumni you will see mainly in European Union and UK. ये usual global courses का split है. But over here, when we talk about India specifically, the growth numbers are staggering. Pretty much, in my opinion, as compared to all remaining 4 countries, India has grown like anything for CMA, and not just CMA, all US-based courses. The major reason being, it's evident now that degrees are not able to serve what they were meant for, what they were designed for, and industry is now more demanding. Given high level of competition, industry has become more demanding. So CMA आ जाता है. So again, CMA, why would you pursue it? Basic 3 reasons. One is you have international acceptance. I'm not a big fan of this reason, but jinko internationally jana hai, they can. Currently, I see a lot of opportunities in India itself. So I promote first opportunities in India. Jinko US jana hai ya bahar jana hai, can consider. Second major reason is curriculum is industry relevant. So it actually makes you job ready, but not completely. I'll come to this again. Third part is premium salary. I think there was a study by IMA which says I think 21% कुछ premium salaries मिलती है versus those who don't have any certification. Fourth is cost effective, super cost effective. If you compare it with any of other courses, you know ACCA के साथ comparison होता है, CPA के साथ होता है, CFA के साथ होता है, FRM के साथ होता है. CMA stands to be one of the most cost effective courses and people come to me कि यार भैया मुझे CPA करना है या बाकी के कोई courses करने हैं. So I usually tell them कि बहुत expensive courses है, plus you do something like CPA, you need charter or like license from a state in US, उसकी fees अलग है, it's a recurring concern. First complete CMA, get into a job, make some money, and then use that money to pursue more courses. But at a starter level, CMA is a good fit, hands down, from my opinion or my perspective. And lastly, when we talk about CMA, it's a general course. It's not a specialization course. I'll explain this with an example. Think of FRM. When someone completes FRM, तो result क्या होगा? Risk में ही job मिलेगा. FRM just covers about risk. When we talk about CFA, CFA usually gets placed in investment management industry only. So equity research वगैरह यहाँ हुआ. But when it comes to management accounting, when it comes to let's say reporting, when it comes to costing, when it comes to consultancy, you need a general course where you know little bit of everything, where CMA actually is a good fit. These are reasons to pursue CMA. Beyond this, also there are other reasons. You know, I teach in this college called BMCC, and on my first day, I always ask students, "क्या आप CMA क्यों कर रहे?" Students are like, "सर कुछ extra करना था, कर लिया." तो ये भी reason हो सकता है, ठीक है? On a lighter note. Now coming to how ideally you should plan your CMA journey. ठीक है, उस पे आते हैं थोड़ा. Let me just take some questions as well in between. I don't want this to be a one-sided show. Okay, wow. I have some really big text. Let me just take some quick questions. CS with CMA, not a big fan. I'll tell you some benefit of this combination. आप M&A में job easily land कर सकते हो, consultancy में भी, even in Big Four. But I'll tell you pros and cons both. Has limited scope. No, Gayatri, not true at all. See, I'll tell you, major concern with CMA is ना, जो मैं बोल रहा था कि why CMA in itself is not a complete course. See, for a candidate to be job ready, you need three things. First is technical or some level of domain knowledge. Then you need something called as communication skill. And then you should know how things work when applying for a job. And major reason over here where CMAs actually don't get placed. I know multiple students who have completed CMA and they don't get placed. And unfortunately, these CMAs are stepping out of the so-called big classes in India. And when I asked them, कि यार CMA के साथ उन्होंने आपको क्या दिया? Nothing. And that's what I'm telling you. CMA in itself is not a complete course. CMA will take care of your technical or domain knowledge. Next thing, super important thing, is communication skill. Communication skill mein you need to work on couple of things. How you present yourself, how you sell yourself in an interview, sell your candidature or candidate's profile in an interview. And यहाँ पे, you know, basic answering, tell me about yourself, where do you see yourself 5 years down the line, why CMA, why specifically this job? All these questions should be asked. There should be n number of mock interviews taken. There should be small presentations taken. There should be small exercises done to make sure that your communication skill is intact. At FinStreet, I'm taking care of this. There's a placement bootcamp 1.5 month ka, plus we have some campus to corporate program for college students. जहाँ पे 2-3 साल, for college students, it's a lottery, I would say. If you fall into campus to corporate program, you are sorted for rest of the life. irrespective of degrees you have. And believe me, मैं जब I am लखनऊ में था, the biggest learning I got out of there is irrespective of your degrees, irrespective of your everything, if you are just good in communication skill, matlab if you know how to present yourself well, how to sound fancy, how to impress someone, there's a good chance you will crack a lot of opportunities. Really good chance. Okay, a lot of my friends did that and I was astonished कि ठीक है मेरे पास 4 डिग्रीज है, मेरा प्लेसमेंट इजी था. But someone with just B.Tech or B.Com, hardly knowing how case studies are to be solved, how things are to be worked, are getting placed at what 15, 20, 25 lakhs. So like ठीक है, होता है. How things work, यहाँ पे आता है major concern. Lot of people don't know how to make CVs and I just feel like कि क्या करूँ मैं ऐसे. Making CV is a basic skill. If you run behind some random YouTubers who are teaching you how to make so-called fancy CV, that doesn't work. There is a classic template which a lot of B schools use. जो मेरा IIM का template है, मैंने एक video में I had explained that this is how you make a CV. But still, when I am also recruiting students, I am also like a placement mentor at one of the colleges in Pune. The kind of CVs I see, it's just rubbish. Okay, so students don't know how to make CV. Students don't know how to apply off campus. Apply off campus. And believe me, this campus routine it's like bit of spoon feeding. So if you come in from a good college, ये spoon feeding अच्छा होता है. You get good opportunities. But let's say if you're from tier 2, tier 3 college, नहीं होगा शॉर्टलिस्ट अगर आपका सीवी अच्छा नहीं है. इफ देयर आर एन गुड अपॉर्चुनिटीज यू विल एंड अप इन अ रॉन्ग प्लेस. So just invest. Okay, I know Indians don't have this mentality of going to a professional who knows how to create a CV, but then you're going to struggle. Placement में फिर struggle होगा. Know how to make a CV, know how off-campus placement works, know how to conduct yourself in an interview. This whole package will land you a really, really great career ahead. Problem is, students just pursue this and then they don't know what to do. Then they don't get placed and then they start blaming the course. Course is just your technical or domain knowledge. It will help you answer technical questions, but it won't help you impress. It won't help you beat the competition. You have to present yourself well. You have to know how things work. Okay, so these are basics. Ideally, your classes should take care of it. If you are with me, don't worry, I'll take care of it. But if you are with someone else, ask them how they are taking care of it. Coming to CMA program, let's talk about the timeline or pathway. See, there are 2 parts. अच्छा, ये भी थोड़ा basic cover करता हूँ. Part 1, part 2. There are 2 parts. Part 1 has around 6 subjects. The overall focus is on internal reporting, then FP&A as discussed, costing, then variance analysis, then we have tech, and then we have, I think, one more subject which I faintly recall. Another 6 subjects in part 2 are, I think first one was financial statement analysis, then we have corporate finance, then we have decision analysis, then we have, I think 4th subject was project financing, if I'm not wrong. Then we have risk management. Oh, first we have risk management, then project financing, lastly we have ethics. These are more or less 6 subjects which you will learn within CMA. Now, major focus is on creating an end-to-end finance professionals. So यहाँ पे when we talk about this plus this combination, you are introduced to everything that is in finance. But the idea of US courses is, यहाँ पे भी मैं आपको एक interesting चीज बताता हूँ. The world is divided into US versus UK finance literature. Our Indian literature is somewhat derived by UK only. So this concept of articleship or this concept of apprenticeship and whatnot comes out of UK actually, where the focus is on learning plus on-job training, but at a subpar level. When we talk about US, the ideology is completely different. US courses promote education through courses, but they don't ask you for articleship as such. They say that get on a full-time job, get 2 years of experience, you are certified. So CMA asks you full-time 2 years of experience, you are a CMA. FRM also asked me 2 years of full-time experience. I was an FRM. I got the certificate. So this is much more better approach from my perspective कि आप on job ही सीख लो. There's no requirement of articleship or internship as such. But let's say if you're someone who resonates well with this, so you can go for Indian courses or even UK courses. Even though UK courses have now changed a lot, I don't know why Indian courses are hesitant. Can't help with that. So again, coming back to US courses, the ideology is that we introduce you to concept. We don't go much in depth. Okay, when it comes to depth, there are only certain topics where depth is covered. Else, it's just quick introduction, basic understanding, logical derivation. That's it. Once the introduction happens, expectation is that you will pass the exam, and simultaneously or after passing, you will get on a full-time job. That's the idea of CMA program. Now coming ahead and discussing what is timeline. Ideally, you should start with part 2. Now this is subjective. अगर आपको part 1 पसंद है, part 1 से start कर लो. Now it's subjective. If you like part 1, you can start with part 1. The idea behind starting part 2 is I personally find this curriculum fun to learn. Capital market, case studies, a lot of resonation with what is happening in actual market, learning, aligning ourselves with that. So part 2 is really fun to learn. Part 1 is also fun, but from different perspective. You need a better build business acumen to understand part 1. Part 2 can be learned through simple case studies. That's my perspective. So part 2, spend 4 months. Let's say if you have joined a class, spend 4 months to learn the curriculum. Give yourself 1 month of buffer time. In this buffer time, let's say if you fall ill, you had to travel or somewhere, it will take care of that. Secondly, in these 5 months, you will also practice well along with studying, and this 1 month at least appear for 4 mock exams, at least. One of my students from previous class reached out to me saying that, sir, I couldn't clear. And the first question I always ask these students is, according to you, what went wrong? And वहाँ पे I get the first response कि sir मैंने mock exams दी ही नहीं. I did not appear for any mock exams. And that's a big red signal. If you don't know at what point you stand in terms of your preparation, how can you vouch for yourself? How can you be confident about passing the exam? So that's a major red flag. And then let's say in 6th month, after the 5 months of preparation, you can appear for your exam. Now, ideally, once you appear for your exam, you have 45 days of break, okay, before receiving your result, or even more than that if you appear a bit early in the exam. So यहाँ पे work on building your profile. There's no need to worry about profile in advance. Complete your first exam, build your profile, and after building your profile, identify gaps as well, okay, where you lack in terms of skill. So at this step, the first thing you should do is find a mentor. I can't emphasize enough on importance of mentor. Okay, I'll give you a very simple scenario. There are people who are successful with all these degrees and who are at all not successful, not doing well in their career with again all these degrees. So what is difference between them? Getting the right guidance can be a make or break deal. I cannot emphasize enough. I have friends who have literally copied my profile. Okay, FRM किया है, CMA किया है, CFA कर रहे, they are trying for MBA, but they are not able to reach the scale I have. Just one difference. I was just lucky and fortunate enough to get really good mentors in my college, outside my college, in business, in n number of things. So you should know how to find a good mentor. Stick with him, understand, take guidance. If you make mistakes, if even your mentor make mistakes, discuss with them. Try to find multiple mentors. I have around 3 mentors right now. I talk to them once every 2 to 3 weeks. So this is how it should be. Just catch with your mentor over a cup of coffee every, let's say once in a week, once in 2 weeks, and get good perspective. Once this is done, go for part 1. And again, find mentor who has achieved what you're planning to achieve. So when I talk to my mentors, some are startup founders, some are academicians with 2-3 PhDs running schools as principal, vice principal. Some are content creators now that I'm getting into this YouTube part. So have similar mentors which have achieved what you are planning to achieve. Uske baad start preparing for part 1. Same thing, 5 months of preparation, which will be a 4+1 model. Appear for exam in your 6th month. This should be your 1-year journey to completing US CMA. After this, polish your profile, and within 3 months, ideally, you should be able to start landing interviews and jobs. Any doubts regarding this timeline? And if you're a student, BCom student specifically, there's a good chance you will have your semester exam and Viva and all sort of exams. have additional buffer. So instead of 6 months, take 5 or 6 months to prepare 1 or 2 months of buffer. And in your 8th or 9th month, go for your exam. So as a student, 9 months is more than enough. 9 plus 9 in 18 months, you should be a CMA if you are a BCom or BBA student. Let's say if you have completed your BCom or you are a working professional, this 6 plus 6 model is more than enough. Okay, there are more chats coming in. Guys, I'll take a quick Q&A break. If I could, solve some relevant doubts over here. Let me check. Sir, can I complete the whole course in 6 months? So Suyesh, I personally did complete the whole course in 6 months. The only downside is you have to be super focused. I'll tell you my routine of completing the whole course in 6 months. I took literally 2.5 months to prepare. And in last, I think 15 days, I went for the exam. How I did it? I used to study literally 2 to 3 hours on weekdays because I was doing it with my job at Deutsche Bank. And then I used to study 6 to 8 hours on weekends, all through self-study. Why self-study? I had background in finance already. मेरा CMA से पहले CA पे L1 हो गया था. And CA पे L1 से पहले FRM हो गया था. So I had that background. So part 2 was a cakewalk for me. That's why I ended up scoring more than 400. I think 430, 440 कुछ score था. अभी मुझे याद नहीं. When it came to part 1, I again came across deep concepts in accounting, and I've always been on finance side of things. I've never worked on accounting side of things. So what I said, I reached out to one of my friends who was an expert in finance in accounting. I used to sit with her Saturday and Sunday for 6 to 7 hours, just solving questions in front of her, understanding logic behind each question. So I had like a personal guide to take me through the exam on Saturdays and Sundays. But again, weekdays, 2 to 3 hours of study, all through self-study, and then again appearing for mock exams. My usual accuracy in mock exams, whenever crossed 85%, I was super confident about clearing the exam. So similar with part 1, 85% plus accuracy chali gayi. I immediately went for my exam, cleared it. So Suyesh, if you are planning to do something like this, here's your roadmap. Sir, I'm a CA dropout. It has been 3 years. I left. I am unable to take any course after that because of fear of failure. Can this be doable? Cherry, I will give you a lesson for life. Okay. My profile comes up very well as a successful candidate as such. But believe me, I have so many failures behind me, so many failures. At 17, I was in worst phase of my life where I had tried 4 or 5 things. I won't take names, but I had tried 4 or 5 things and I couldn't do it. Either I lost interest or I couldn't pass it. And believe me, at 17, my parents were like, nahi hoga tere se kuch career mein. So consider just completing BCom, chota mota job le lo, and then see what you can do. But I kept on fighting. As I told my father, please take one more chance on me. I went into a very frugal lifestyle. Coming in from a middle class family, we always have budgets for such courses. These are expensive courses. So I told to my father that for my whole college life, मैं कोई fancy phone नहीं लूंगा. Believe me, till I was 20 or 21, मैं 10,000 या उससे नीचे वाला फोन यूज करता था. I won't go shopping. जो भी कपड़े हैं मैं 3-4 साल यूज कर लूंगा. I won't spend on anything. Just fund my education, please. And he agreed on that case, and he also saw how serious I was getting. So that's how I went through. Secondly, whenever you have fear of failure, आपको एक story बताता हूँ, ठीक है? I don't recall where I read it. See, whenever there is a tree and there is a branch, when a bird comes and sits on this branch, the bird isn't sitting on this branch because the branch is strong enough. The bird sits on this branch because it is confident in itself that if tomorrow the branch falls off, I can fly again. This simply means if I'm opting for something, it is not because that thing will give me success. It should be because I am confident in myself. I'm going to try this. If this works out well and good, if it doesn't work out, I will fly again. I will fly again means I will try again. I will fail again. I will try again. And eventually I will succeed. So believe me, success is just repetitive failure until one day it is success. So whenever you have fear of failure, it's okay to be fearful, but don't hold yourself back. Push. Just keep pushing. I hope that helps. Sir, after business analyst था मेरे second job में FIS. So Himanshu, you can target. Okay, we have discussed pathway. I think I just have 10 minutes more. I'll quickly take ROI analysis. मैंने वैसे बहुत in-depth cover किया in my last YouTube video, but just a quick glimpse. See, if you're a student, you will incur somewhere around 85K. Again, these are approximate numbers for official numbers. Please check IMS website. And यहाँ पर भी you do get a discount somewhere around spring once. And again, it's not a guarantee. I have seen IMA releasing discounts. There is a pattern. If you go back on IMA's official pages, आपको spring के around मतलब somewhere around July or September एक discount दिखेगा. And there is around one discount in December. I think वो Christmas के around दिखेगा. But it can come, it may not come. I'm just being honest. Usually it has come, so I am counting on it to come again. So यहाँ पे आपकी फीस ऑन मेंबरशिप पार्ट एंड ऑन योर रजिस्ट्रेशन कम हो जाती है अराउंड 30% तक. दैट्स व्हाट द लास्ट डिस्काउंट सेड. इफ यू आर अ वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल 1.3L तक जाता है और 3.5L तक जाता है. अगेन यू हैव डिस्काउंट जिससे ये फीस और काफी कम हो जाती है आफ्टर 30% ऑफ डिस्काउंट. कमिंग टू सैलरी पार्ट, your starting salary, what I have observed, is 3L to 6L. This is for freshers who have just completed CMA. But believe me, don't look down on these salaries. I have seen classes saying after CMA, get 6 lakh, 8 lakh, 10 lakh, what rubbish numbers they are selling. I don't know how, what kind of cheat code they have. But in reality, I have seen students getting between 3 lakh and 6 lakh. Please do not look down on these salaries for first 2 years, 0 to 2 years. The reason being, once you have degree, once you have certificate, believe me, you are still not job ready. You have to put in those efforts in terms of skills and other part, then you get job ready. So but once you start working, that is when you actually add up real value. जब आप Excel पे काम करते हो, you work on analytics software, you work on 10 different softwares. That is actually when you add value. And once you add value, then you are in demand. Job shouldn't be a concern for you. Job should be just another opportunity for you. It should be just another jump. मैंने खुद अपना, I'll tell you my salaries. In Deutsche Bank, when I started my career, I had already appeared for CFA L1, which जिसका result आ गया था positive. I had already completed FRM, and I was in process of pursuing CMA. With this qualification, my first salary gave me in hand. My first in hand salary was just 25,000 at Deutsche Bank, and I was so arrogant. I'm like, इतने सारे degrees है, इतनी salary कम क्यों? But the fact is, you become valuable after gaining experience. Experience is valued the most in the market. Certifications give you credibility. It says that you are an expert, but experience also gives you that credibility, and combination of both is real value. So after taking just experience of 15 months, when I jumped to FIS, यहाँ पे मेरी fixed salary was 8 lakh. उसके ऊपर मुझे incentives मिलते थे. But I don't want to focus on incentives, bonus, it's subject to 10 different things. My fixed salary was 8 lakh rupees just after experience of 15 months. Believe me, I was BCom when I was 21, and by 22, 23 May, I took a job switch. After this, I went to IIM Lucknow, and Lucknow के बाद की salary, I have signed an NDA with IIM Lucknow. I cannot reveal that. But I'll tell you my batch salary. हमारे batch की average salary was 29 lakh. So आप consider कर लो. That's the best I can do in terms of telling my KPMG salary. Okay. So again, please focus that this is a learning curve where your experience is between 0 to 2. And यहाँ पे जो salaries होती है between what 3L or 3.5L, यहाँ से जो 8L का jump मिलता है, that comes through experience only. Okay. Cool. ROI analysis pretty much done. Let me just draw a general structure for you. So 0 to 2 experience, I have seen candidates getting 3L to 6L. 2 to 5 years of experience, I've seen students get 8L to 15L. And 5+ years of experience, I've seen students getting more than 15L. That is my own analysis, own observations, again, not citing any official source. Coming to those who want to join FinStreet, these are three things we do for you. First is we take a lot of mock interviews, and you are given a weekly assignment, okay, solve 30, 40, 50 MCQs just to keep track where you stand. Second is placement mentorship. So when I was talking about knowing how to sell your profile, knowing how to create a good profile, that we take care of through placement mentorship, this part. And we also conduct mock interviews in 2 series. One is, Abdul, I'll come to you. Just give me a second. You can lower your hand. So coming to placement mentorship, the first thing we do is build your profile. Rather, let me go and explain what actually we do. Good thing is that a lot of our competitors have started imitating our model, which is, I'm happy. Please do so. If you need guidance, reach out to me, because I want students to win end of the day. One first thing we do is take a mock interview and ask you to create a draft CV. Once this is done, our internal experts, so we have Pooja ma'am with us, I am there, and one more expert is there. We first review your CV draft, ask you to make changes, and this goes around 3 to 4 rounds tak chale jata hai usually. If someone is still struggling, at times even I sit with him or her and write the whole CV. वो भी करना पड़ता है. Then we take 3 mock interviews internally based on your target profiles. कि आपको Big 4 में जाना है, कौन से रोल में जाना है, उस रोल के लिए क्या questions पूछेंगे. Those kind of things we do. After this, we give you a gap analysis report. Skill gap report. Skill gap analysis report. Based on this report, we ask you to do n number of activities. Let's say your communication skill is weak. We ask you to join Toastmasters Club, or we ask you to go and join a language university where you could practice. If someone is at a very amateur stage of communication, we ask them to even join communication classes, English speaking classes. That is required. Second thing, if your CV is not up to the mark, we give you a list of certifications to complete internally plus externally. There's a video coming out on 10 free certifications in finance. Agle week aa jayega. You can watch that video for certifications. So those kind of things we do. And aapko 3 months diye jate hain sab karne ke liye. Once this is done and both your part 1 and part 2 are done, then we take you to industry experts. So let's say if someone wants to work in KPMG, I'll call some of my friends from KPMG and ask them, please interview my students. At least take 3 interviews. So 3 of my friends will take separate interviews. Based on that interview, we will give you a feedback. And based on that feedback, then we will take your profile to HRs. Our team will pitch your CV to HRs on behalf of you. This is how placement assistant works. And I'm well aware that some of the so-called classes claim कि हमारे यहाँ वहाँ पे tie-up है. Believe me, I've worked in 5 or 6 MNCs now. Any big company do not entertain these chota mota classes for placement tie-ups. I mean, just think it through. Even I was in IIM Lucknow. Even IIMs don't have such placement tie-ups. Even IIMs have to take their bunch of CV, go to an HR and pitch those CVs. वैसे ही चलता है. So those who are claiming their tie-ups and so-called partnerships, I don't think these are official. The claim is really doubtful from my perspective. And from placement assistance perspective, we start pitching your CVs to different HRs, and we have a commitment to at least give 3 interviews to our students, making sure they get fair amount of chance. And on back end, we are our team, rather placement assistance team or placement mentorship team, is making sure that you are well prepared for that interview. Talking about our last batch, we had around 5 students, out of which 1 went overseas for her education. So 4 students I trained for CMA. All have passed. So it's a record-breaking feat for me and FinStreet Education. So just a glimpse of those. Zuili scored 470, super proud of her. Sakhi scored 400. She got into Barclays as well. Prachiti scored 390. She got into, I think, Syngenta or Cinecron. I don't recall her company's name, but Prachiti got placed. Mrunal completed part 1, is going for part 2 now. Again, what we do is we have how we teach. We have a very unique model. अभी उस पे मैं drill down नहीं करूँगा. It's already 12. I want to take some Q&A. But yeah, this is our basic learning model. This is our pricing. As usual, our last batch of admissions for Jan-Feb attempt is now open. This will be closing somewhere around first week of September. So if you want to join, you can take it. Classroom program, virtual program, we have 5,000 discount till our next batch starts. Once we start our next batch, the discount will be closed. These are 6 certifications which we offer for free. And again, these are as per your, let's say, target profile. So let's say if you want to go into equity research, then finance plus MS Excel for finance plus modeling, analytics में जाना है Tableau, Big Four में automation में Alteryx, let's say FP&A role में जाना है, Power BI can be a good tool. That is it. So thank you. And by the way, don't visit our website now. It's under construction. Under construction in the sense new IT vendor is working on it. Should be up and running in a week's time, at least 2 weeks or maybe 2 weeks time. But yeah, you can reach out on this phone number if you want to talk to our admin team. Plus we have a open community जिसकी link मैंने description में दे दी है. You can join our community और वहाँ पे जो भी admin है, you can get in touch with them for more details. Let's do a quick Q&A now for 10-15 minutes. YouTube, I'm coming to you. Give me a second. Meanwhile, I'll just quickly take up Zoom ke questions. Sir, how can I join your CMA class? Here is the phone number. Please call this or WhatsApp this number. You will get all the details. Unable to see your handwriting. Okay, we fixed that. Currently, I'm in 11th and want to pursue CMA. It's too early, buddy. Please focus on your 12th. 12th के बाद करना. Sir, graduation के बाद road map and job market thing explain करो. We did that. If you have any follow-up doubt, feel free to ask. What type of jobs CMA do? So, Seth, the 3 pillars which I explained, raising capital, जहाँ पे mainly corporate finance या capital market के jobs है, external reporting के jobs है, वो आते हैं. Operations में you have CMA part 1, so internal reporting, analysis, costing, वो jobs है. And then in next part you have reporting में part 1, part 2 both वो jobs आते हैं. Cost control, audit वगैरह वो भी आता है. Shrey Srivastav, sir, currently I'm in 11th, want to pursue again. Shrey, wait till your 12th is over, it's too early. 11th 12th में बाकी चीजों पे काम करो. That is something you can do. Abdul said, sir, if a person who has completed his MBA and works in payables, payables come to my class, buddy. हमारे पास बहुत सारे payables के students हैं. I'll tell you my personal best success story. ठीक है, one of my cousin, he started in a very small Indian company, moved to WNS, worked there in such roles, you know, R2R, payables, receivables वगैरह, and from there further switched to JP Morgan now. And Abhi, again, during this process, he's in my class right now. You can talk to him. Soumitra hai uska naam. He's in JP Morgan. Huge turnaround success story. That is, you know, kind of things you learn. That is kind of things you achieve after you learn. So you can consider that. And there's a good chance आपने tier 2 या 3 college से किया है. If you have ended up in payables, it's a BPO KPO role. Not good in long term. Manual role यार, AI के बाद तो चला भी जाएगा. In next 4-5 years can become isolated. Gurfateh, hey, good to see you, Gurfateh. Long time. CMA is like general course of finance that can fit in all 3 pillars. Yes, it is general course in finance, fits in all 3 pillars. Gayatri का query ले लिया है. Swapnil currently studying for CS. Yeah, if you're dedicated to CS now, at one time I would say, Swapnil, CS चालू किया है तो खत्म करो. And this is the kind of approach you can take. Give your 100% to at least 2 attempts. ठीक है, एक attempt में कुछ गड़बड़ हो गया. Give 100% to 2 attempts. नहीं हो रहा है, either leave it, or if you have more patience, go for 3rd attempt. But 3 attempts में if you are giving your 100% for the exam, nahi ho raha hai, I would say move on. There are always better things. You can always find better things in life. And believe me, like, I have this second thought on people who take 10 years, 15 years to complete a certification and then they post on LinkedIn कि मैंने 10 साल ये करके किया. I'm like, really, was it worth it? Was this one piece of paper or 3 letters ahead of your number worth it? What if you had gone in some other direction? Because I have done that. मेरे पास एक CA dropout आई थी. She messed up after the articleship. कुछ paperwork में issues हुआ था. So then she took a switch to US courses, got a job in Deutsche Bank, switched to Northern Trust, again came back to Deutsche Bank, makes almost more than 1 lakh per year. just MCOM and US CMA. That's it. So these are the kind of things you can opt for. And I ask her, do you regret leaving CA? No, I get a clear answer. No, rather she's more happy. She has her friends now who are chartered accountants, and not every CA is remarkably successful. There are a lot of CAs who are successful, but not every. And वो तो हर certification के साथ होता है. Karan, sir, I'm right now in second year, and how can I get scholarship? Scholarship window will open in first week of September. मैं video डाल दूंगा उसके ऊपर. Or along with video, I'll also give you a template, sample template. It should be then easy task to do. Sneha is asking, sir, I'm in my first year of college. Can I start preparing US for CMA ke liye? Yes, Sneha, absolutely. Rather, you should have a good 3-year plan now, 3 or 4 year plan, depending on duration of your degree. But do research papers, take competitions, case study competitions, uh, do volunteering, join different clubs, committees, do model UN. There are a lot of things you can do as a student. Arya is asking, I have heard from people that CPA and ACC are more preferred than CMA when it comes to job placement. I haven't seen anything like that. CPA is preferred for specific roles. That I agree. कि कुछ reporting dedicated है, US taxation है, CPA is preferred. ECCA, I haven't personally seen special preference. Shailesh Sharma, sir, I'm a BCom graduate. How can I start? Please suggest me. Ways. Shailesh, how to start? Well, here's my approach. What you can do is take up some demo classes, go through the curriculum at a macro level, see if this is something that interests you. Demo class समझ में आ रहा है या नहीं? If it is so, then you can start preparing. अभिषेक सर, अपकमिंग सितंबर बैच का टारगेट एग्जाम क्या रहेगा? जैन फेब अटेम्प्ट. सर, अक्टूबर अटेम्प्ट के लिए रजिस्टर कब करना है? सी ऑफिशियली लास्ट डेट इज 15 अक्टूबर, बट जितना जल्दी हो सके उतना कर लो. सितंबर से पहले ही कर लो. आई थिंक नाउ वुड बी अ गुड टाइम टू रजिस्टर एक्चुअली. अभी कर लो, यू विल गेट अ गुड विच एवर डेट यू वांट, प्रीटी मच यू हैव चांसेस ऑफ गेटिंग दैट. So which course is best, Indian CMA or US CMA? In my opinion, US CMA. बट वो पैरामीटर्स पे डिपेंड होता है, आप कौन से पैरामीटर्स कंपेयर कर रहे हो. फॉर मी, टाइम, लाइक इन्वेस्टमेंट इन टर्म्स ऑफ टाइम इज अ ह्यूज पैरामीटर. फी इज नॉट अ मेजर कंसर्न. अगर हम फी को कंसिडर करते हैं तो इंडियन सीएमए बहुत ही कॉस्ट इफेक्टिव है, तो फिर पैरामीटर्स अगेन चेंज हो जाते हैं. विच कोर्स इज बेस्ट, एफआरएम और यूएस सीएमए? फॉर जेनरिक फाइनेंस, यूएस सीएमए इज बेस्ट. फॉर रिस्क मैनेजमेंट, एफआरएम इज बेस्ट. आई होप दैट हेल्प्स. पलक, सुयश सर, कैन आई कंप्लीट द होल कोर्स? ये देख लिया है. अब्दुल, Abdul, yes. So our classes work in two modes. Saturday is hybrid, and Sunday is completely online. So during hybrid, you get to interact directly with me, similarly to what we are doing right now, but class में limited बच्चे होते हैं. Our current batch is of around 40-45 students. So I'm able to, develop that one-on-one connect, plus we have a number of engagements. हम mid week Wednesday Thursday को doubt solving sessions लेते हैं. उसमें again a lot of working professionals are there, so only 20-25 students could show up for doubt solving. Classes में 30-40 students are there. And beyond this also, like starting this week only, we are releasing a top mate link for internal students. Whenever they want to book a meeting with me, they can anytime. So I'm 100% dedicated to my batch. मुझे बहुत बढ़िया रिजल्ट निकालना है जैन फेब अटेम्प्ट के लिए, ताकि it's a good size in terms of batch, and then I want to get them placed at all fancy roles, ताकि we create our own legacy as FinStreet education. Sir, I am CA dropout and it has been 3 years. I left. I'm unable to. Cherry, we have discussed this. I hope my perspective helped. What skills should we learn? इसके ऊपर I think video है, plus मैं एक डाल दूंगा अगर नहीं है तो. Sir, please answer my question. Abdul, I hope I have answered. I heard CPA and ACC are more preferred. I don't think so. Uh, if you have different opinion, of course, you have the right to have a different opinion. So I won't comment on that. Hi, sir. CMA, can we target on business analyst? Yes, you can. Sir, I did mistake as I registered for P1 in Feb. Oh, and May, June. How can I complete P2 syllabus in just 3 to 4 months? उसके लिए strategy थोड़ी अलग लगेगी प्रियान. We can connect separately. You get in touch with my admin. We can discuss this next week. Tanish, तनिष बस एक ही टेक्स्ट करने के लिए आया है चैट में. आई कुड जस्ट रिपीटेडली सी दिस टेक्स्ट ओनली. सर हाउ कैन आई गेट स्कॉलरशिप? वीडियो आ जाएगा. प्रोफेशनल कैंडिडेट्स ऑल्सो गेट डिस्काउंट. यस, सबके लिए होता है. इफ आई वांट टू स्टार्ट फ्रॉम दिस सितंबर, दिस वी हैव कवर्ड. Sir, will it be good to do other finance courses or skills except US CMA in my first and second year? Uh, Irfan, I would say this goes hand in hand. The reason being, आप एक्सेल सीख लोगे बट एक्सेल में एनालाइज क्या करोगे? यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड बिजनेस साइड ऑफ थिंग्स एज वेल, जो आप सीएमए में सीखते हो. Experience is the most essential thing wants to level up in corporate. Yes, experience is quite important, and getting good experience is also quite important. हमारा वर्चुअल और क्लासरूम बैच एक ही है अब्दुल. सैटरडे को वी हैव हाइब्रिड, सो एट द सेम टाइम आई एम टॉकिंग टू ऑफलाइन प्लस ऑनलाइन स्टूडेंट्स. आर ऑफिस इज इन अ कॉर्पोरेट सेटअप, तो संडे को बंद रहता है हमारा ऑफिस. वी वर्क वर्चुअली, क्लासेस आर वर्चुअली कंप्लीटली ऑन संडे. मंडे टू सैटरडे अगेन आर ऑफिस इज ओपन, आप आके पढ़ाई कर सकते हो. वी हैव इन हाउस लाइब्रेरी ऑफ अराउंड 30-40 बुक्स नाउ. आके फिनेंस के बुक्स पढ़ो. आई एम देयर अराउंड 1 or 2 hours इन बिटवीन. सैटरडे को थोड़ा टाइम रहता हूँ, मंडे ट्यूसडे रहता हूँ. यू कैन कम मीट मी, हैव अ कॉफी, नॉट एन इशू. Our team is also there to support you if you need anything. Okay, let me now switch to YouTube for some time and take some questions. Sir, US CMA tough or easy? I think it's easy, doable, easily doable. I'm not good in account. So Jyotsna, that's my concern. If you want to do CMA, it is my responsibility to make sure you become good in accounts. I'll just take these questions for 2 more minutes and then we can call it off. What is your salary? I think we have discussed that already. I'm in 12th thinking to do. 12th के बाद करो please. Do it after 12th, not before that. Sir, in what order should we study and revise? There's a video on how to study, but to give you an overview, start with video lectures if you're new to finance, then come to reading textbooks, solving MCQs, and then move on to the next chapter. ऐसे करते करते आगे जाओ. Make sure whenever you are practicing MCQs, your accuracy should be at least 75-80%. उससे कम है तो go back to reading or lectures. Yes, Avimitra.
Hello, hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Okay, so I wanted to know that if I start doing US CMA from this September, as I have already got the scholarship, will it be good for me to appear for a single part this Jan-Feb window or appearing for both parts in May-June window?
Okay, I would say single part. The reason being, it's a huge investment. If you are confident, do it. But why to risk it when you have option for appearing in separate windows? That is one part. Secondly, let's say if you're someone who's interested in getting a rank, like a CMA with I think 450 plus or 440 plus in both parts, usually get a separate क्या नाम था उस अवार्ड का, डिस्टिंग्विश्ड कैंडिडेट कुछ ऐसे.
पिछली अवार्ड भी है एक.
हाँ, award है, but for that award, you need to appear for both exams in the same window. So if you're targeting that award specifically, then go for it. But other than that, if you are not running behind that award, then you can appear for it separately. And I think वो कुछ top 5, top 10 students को ही दिया जाता है. You will find more details on IMS website. But from my perspective, if your risk appetite is limited in terms of budget, don't go for it. If you have budget के यार नहीं हुआ तो I can appear for one more attempt, तो कर लो. Because nothing like CA और Indian courses के multiple attempts है तो job नहीं मिलेगा, ऐसे कुछ नहीं है. Nothing like that over here for CMA.
मेरा बजट जो है थोड़ा कम है, बट मेरे को मतलब यूएससी में करना है क्योंकि मेरे को कॉस्टिंग में बहुत ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है, अकाउंट्स में भी इंटरेस्ट था. इसलिए नहीं तो मैं यूएससी में छोड़ के एसीसीए ये सब भी कर सकता था, बट यूएससी में चूज ही किया इसलिए क्योंकि कॉस्टिंग को इन डेप्थ में समझ सकता हूँ इससे. एंड एक कम टाइम में स्ट्रॉन्ग मतलब एक क्वालिफिकेशन भी आ जाएगा जो कि जिसके बेसिस पे मैं जॉब भी पा सकता हूँ. इसलिए तो मेरा इंटरेस्ट है, इसलिए क्या मैं टारगेट कर सकता हूँ एकदम बेस्ट के लिए या फिर कि
So
कंजर्वेटिव जाऊं?
okay, let me ask you some more questions. आप अभी स्टूडेंट हो, वर्किंग प्रोफेशनल हो?
मैं स्टूडेंट हूँ।
स्टूडेंट हो, ठीक है।
हाँ,
व्हाट आर योर यूजुअल स्कोर्स? आपने 12th में क्या स्कोर किया था? व्हाट आर योर स्कोर्स इन बीकॉम,
12th
इफ
में
यू आर
अराउंड,
कंफर्टेबल सर?
यस यस, 12th में अराउंड 90% था। हाँ, और जो बेस कोड का सिलेक्शन होता है, मतलब लैंग्वेज
हम्म।
को हटा के, वो 94% के करीब आया था वेस्ट बंगाल बोर्ड से। एंड जो बीकॉम का है वो मेरा अराउंड सीजीपीए 8 के करीब रहता है अभी।
ओके, okay,
हम्म।
got it. See, your ACADS are good. Your 12th is also good. So you seem like a studious candidate. Secondly, अब अभी आपके पास टाइम भी है, given that you are a student. So if I, let's say, happen to be in your place, I would have taken the risk कि चलो दोनों attempt एक साथ कर लेते हैं. Because I see those plus time availability, and secondly those features in you. I see those features in you which are likely to give good result. Even like same with our student Zoili. She had similar scores, studious भी थी, and she had that drive के सर करना है, because of some reason she couldn't appear for both exams. But you can, and if you can, go for it. Worth taking
आ,
the risk.
हाँ, मैं फाइनल ईयर में अभी चल रहा है मेरा फाइनल ईयर, तो लाइक
बट
मेरे को
बीकॉम
लेना
इज
है थोड़ा।
यूजुअली मैनेजेबल ना, तो
हम्म।
लेट्स से अगर थोड़ा कंसर्न लग ही रहा है, देन डोंट गो फॉर जैन फेब, गो फॉर मई जून. बट अगर आपको दोनों एक साथ करना है तो कर लो. इफ यू गेट एन अवार्ड फॉर इट, फॉर लाइफ लॉन्ग, यू हैव अ रियली गुड सीवी पॉइंट एट योर हैंड, तो कर सकते हो, नॉट एन इशू.
ओके ओके सर।
Okay, but again, one more thing: do not take the call in advance. Start your preparation. Halfway through your preparation, appear for some tests, appear for some mock exam. वहाँ पे आपको आइडिया आ जाएगी. Like if you plan to join FinStreet, हमारे पास एक mid season mock होती है. So once your 50% of curriculum is done, there will be a test shared with you. Appear for that and then take your call. Okay.
ओके सर।
Cool. पलक से सर, अगर 2 year का ग्रेजुएशन यूएस सीएमए हो गया, देन 3 year से एक्सपीरियंस स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं आफ्टर डूइंग यूएस सीएमए. पलक, एक्सपीरियंस पहले का भी चलता है, साइमल्टेनियस भी चलता है, बाद का भी चलता है. सो pass exams whenever you want in your whole life. If you have 2 years of experience after 14 years of age, because before 14 it would be a child labor, or that will create legal problems. But after 14 years of age, if you have 2 years of experience anywhere full time, you can submit it. Exam pass karo kabhi bhi, submit those and get your charter, get your certification. Okay, cool. Chalo, thank you guys. I think it's 12:20 now. On a Sunday morning, I think more than 50 students have stayed back. Thank you so much. Gayatri, just contact the phone number I had displayed on the screen, or just get in touch with. There's a link in the description of YouTube Live. Us community through you can get in touch, and you can join our demo lecture in first week of September. I hope that helps. Discount 5,000 का है, we have already extended. 5,000 Abdul. And on both classroom और recorded lectures पे नहीं है, classroom and virtual classroom पर है, offline and online पे. Okay, चलो, I'm closing.